Hi guys! So my name is Anastasia and today I'll be talking to you about getting an internship in fashion PR. First, you have to of course start with your CV. Make sure it's very slick. I don't recommend going more than one page for the very first time because if very professional people, even with 3 or 4 years experiences, they still stick to one page because that's just appealing to the eye, and as humans we want to make the selection process as easy as possible, so it's better just have everything on one page. um, I think it helps also to have very good balanced and symmetrical CV. Don't go overboard with colors. Maybe stick to 2 or 3 colors maximum. You can have a picture as well, that's fine. Don't make it very big, or just kind of a professional normal shot. Make sure you put your details such as number, your email, date of birth sometimes helps because especially if you're young, they want to make sure they are providing the job that you can handle, if you're responsible enough or old enough to go to certain events, if for example you need to be over 18 or 21. Another important thing for your CV is to have obviously your education. If you don't really have good grades, it's better not to mention those. It's better just list the subject you are doing right now, and it's good to put some hobbies and interests so you seem not just this academic person, but also a person with passions and interests that maybe the person who is actually reading your CV also has. Like, let's say if you're into working out or Pilates, put that. If you like photography and traveling, put that. It's better to have many angles to your personality because also everybody wants to have a fun person on the team. Nobody wants to have this miserable, not interested in anything person in their office, even if they're just an intern and you won't probably even say a thing to people. Just um, don't be boring. Basically, try to make yourself as interesting as possible. And that's it, really. If you don't have any fashion experience, if you don't have any experience at all, focus on your passions. And also you can talk about any relevant magazines or sites that you like to visit. Like, let's just say fashion, I like blogging, or you have your own blog. Just put a couple of links. Make it simple. Even if your CV is half a page, that's fine. It's fine. Like, as long as it's simple, that's really good. Next thing I would recommend is Googling a lot of PR agencies and brands that you like and just finding their contacts. It can be very tricky sometimes, but pretty much every PR agency has their careers or jobs, internships, email. So make a spreadsheet on Excel. I recommend that, and put every name of the company that you're applying for. I would say put at least 30. It sounds a lot, but fashion PR is extremely competitive, especially for internships. So if you're high in season, like now, before people are graduating, they want to really get into the internship world, just apply to as many as possible. And even if you get 5 interviews, that's amazing. Even if you get one interview and you think you're going to take it, but you still have time to go to others, go, just for experience, because the more interviews you do, the more confident you will be. So that's great. Good luck to you. Hopefully you'll get many, many, many. So when you do get a reply from the person saying you sound interesting, or would you like to come for an interview, be very professional. No, XXX, no kissing, no hiya. Always make sure you put the name of a person, because there's nothing more frustrating of saying hi there, or hey, or thank you, hello. Like, you're talking to a human and the human has a name, so make sure you always talk to the person with a name. Be quite formal. I think it's better to go a bit more formal rather than too casual, because also they take you more professionally. When you do go to an interview, dress code, it's better to underdo it than overdo it. Make sure you don't really have much fake tan, because I think with fashion girls, especially nowadays, hey, I would love to be tanned as well. And I think a tasteful spray tan can be very nice, but just make sure you're not orange and you don't have patches. If you're pale, embarrassed of it, trust me, they won't not take you because of the color of your skin or how tan and healthy and, jet setter are you? So don't worry about that. Makeup also, less is more. Even if you're an intern, you think, oh, they wouldn't care how I look because I'll be in the little box dealing with samples or doing really shitty stuff. They still do, They will look at you, they will bump into you, they would strike a conversation with you. So just, it's better to be just likable and simple. Of course, it's fashion, so you want to have a couple of, accessories or something that says that you are into fashion. You don't want to go as a complete plain Jane. So, but just maybe talk to your friends, and even if it's hard to get into fashion PR and you don't have any connections, just go onto sites like Refinery 29 or Coverture, or just look at fashion girls, just not when they go to events, but kind of just every day. Like Olivia Palermo always does it well, just very simple and chic. Again, another thing is very important, I find, is having perfect nails. It's better not to have nail polish, but quite nice, rather than funky chipped or like very long acrylic nails. Like nobody like acrylic nails because it means you'll be quite slow with, dealing with the mail, whatever things you need to do when you're starting up. So make sure your nails are very neat. I don't recommend wearing high heels, just because on a number of occasions you can be asked to stay or, have a little tour of the office, and you want to be confident and you don't want to like fall and make a mess of yourself. So the same actually goes when you're starting the internship. I think it's better to go with flats and have high heels in your bag or when you need for an event, but always wear flats, because nobody likes a slow intern who can't, do the task as soon as possible, who is like always in pain and moaning and never complain. So yeah, once you get to the interview, make sure you do a lot of research on the brand and the company you're going for. Even if it's for an internship, you think they won't expect much of me. Sometimes they do. And in the end of the day, you are going to work for them. Even if it's for free, even if it's for just a couple of weeks, you will be the face of that brand, because fashion world is very small. And if somebody asks, who do you work for, and you say you work for that PR company and not make a good impression, that's the company's image, and it's very precious. Also, when you go for your interview, make sure you really know the brand, you really know the PR agency. It's quite easy to cheat nowadays with Twitter. You can always go on Twitter of that PR agency and their clients to see what they've been up to, if there are any events, new product releases, collaborations, celebrity endorsement, just anything. Just think of it as a little spy section, just go and research as much as possible. And maybe something even from back of their history, like 2-3 years ago. They've done something like super wow, like a big pop-up shop, or anything that's quite memorable. And you can always bring it into the interview, because if they ask you about, oh, so do you know our clients, you'll be like, yeah, I like this brand and they did this and that. So the person knows like you really, you really want to work there. And I think that's great. Also, if you think, oh my god, I just don't want to learn about all these things because it may be completely irrelevant, I might not even get a job offer. But just think this, in the end of the day, if you want to work in fashion PR, it's just another research, it's just another thing that you will know, so it adds value to you. Because when you go into the next interview, if you didn't get this one, or just for practice, you can compare and say like, oh, I've seen this PR agency and they did this, and I thought that was quite interesting, and it's an interesting angle, and it's effective. Because PR agencies, they're so focused on themselves and they have so many things going on that sometimes they have literally no time to look at competition. So it can make you this edgy person, who also knows like what's going on in the industry. If you're in the UK, I always recommend to go on Fashion Monitor and Diary Directory for news. Diary Directory is completely free, so is Fashion Monitor to look at relevant news. It could be either journalists moving, or PR agency hiring new people, or a magazine making team changes and promotions. It's always good to know what's going on in your industry, and it's free. So, and if you see some big names, you can also research them, see how they look, see how they dress, and what they write. So it's always good. Also in the interview, I think it's important to ask questions, because nobody wants to have a person who is completely agreeable, who has no questions. So even if the interview was very extensive and quite long, you can always ask about like, ooh, um, what are your future plans for the PR agency, and how is your team structured? You can always ask how many people there are in the teams and how many other interns, so you can really see, and maybe also ask, obviously they'll tell you basic things they would want you to do, but also ask like, oh, what are the challenges you're facing? Are you planning any new events that I can help with? Because I really want to add value to your team. I think that line always works really well. Add value to your team, because in the end of the day, you're just there to add value. So hopefully your internship will go well. And quite cool trick also is to have always a very pretty pen or pencil. Never have it chipped or like bitten or discolored. Just have a very pretty pen. It doesn't have to be expensive, just quite clean, nice. A nice notebook. I recommend Moleskine. They can be quite expensive, but you can just have one for interviews and just your fashion notes, which is quite nice. So I think that's it. So if you have any questions or you want me to make a part 2 video, just type your questions under, and yeah, I'll make sure I'll answer everything. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.